when my boys first sparred with him, Robert and Jose Armando Cruz, with him, he goes, man, he hits hard, and he hits hard in the arms.
Sparred Margarito, Casamayor, Juan Ascano, I sparred Juan Ascano, I sparred Panchito too, Panchito Bujaro. I think Valero is the hardest hitter that I sparred now.
Jose Armando Cruz, he's like, he's pretty much got some figured out. And Urbando Antillon also, like, he pretty much puts hands on him when he does throw punches. And except for that one time where he got caught.
He didn't know how he had good upper body movement. He didn't know how to make you miss, make you pay. He got a lot of power. I mean, to me, he's a very good fighter.
He's got what very few fighters have. He's got that punch, He's got that Julian Jackson punch where, like, he just has to hit you one time and he'll flatten you out.
He's pretty strong, and like it's hard for me to move him, and it's difficult for me to walk over, like just try to move or something like the other guys.
I mean, no, he should be fighting, man. He should be fighting regular, because I know for a fact he'd be world champion, in a very short time, if only he can fight.
He's got the potential to be one of those fighters that we'll talk about 20, 30 years from now about, what a great fighter he was. Like I said, if given that opportunity to fight again.
He has power, and also he's very smart. There are some fighters that have power, but they're not smart. This guy, he has something, man, that's very unique. Something you don't see every day in boxing. He has a very special gift for boxing.
Round one, we are at the LA Boxing Club in downtown Los Angeles. The shirtless fighter to your left with black sweatpants is a fighter that Max Boxing readers are very familiar with. Venezuelan junior lightweight prospect Edwin Valero. He's 12-0 with 12 knockouts, and as most of you are well aware of, all of those knockouts occurred in the first round. The tall, rangy fighter sparring with Edwin, his name is Jose Armando Cruz. He is a lightweight prospect / contender with a nice record, 18-0 with 9 knockouts.
It's no wonder why Valero is knocking everybody out in the first round. He is an offensive-minded fighter. You can see that. He's pushing off Santa Cruz. He's hitting him with 1-2s, uppercuts. He looks like he's ready for Santa Cruz to go in the first round.
Yeah, he starts every fight like this. He starts every sparring session like this as well. He holds back in sparring. He says he has to because it's the only way he's going to get any rounds out of these guys.
He's already hitting Santa Cruz with a lead left hand as Santa Cruz puts his head down and tries to come forward, pushing him off every time he gets close. At this point, Valero is definitely the ring general, setting the pace and being the bully.
That's what he's used to being. And despite his small size, every fighter that I've ever talked to who ever sparred with Valero always tells me what really surprises them is not so much his punching power or his hand speed or his technique. It's his sheer physical strength. They say he can muscle guys around there. And you see there's a great variety of punches, and there's always a lot of punches from Valero.
He just hit Santa Cruz with a 3-punch combo all with his right hand. I mean, he's jabbing and turning that jab underneath for an uppercut. Right now, he seems to be doing whatever he wants.
He wants to. A lot of. Oh man!
Again.
Tell me about it. He likes to get that jab under their chin to lift their head up. Then he comes right back with a hook or a cross, and that combination you saw was a right uppercut followed by a double right hook.
This is the kind of fighter you want to frustrate because he's obviously a rhythm puncher. He throws punches in bunches, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can get him out of his rhythm, you might be able to make some headway. And here is the result of not getting him out of his rhythm.
You see that uppercut, yeah.
I saw exactly what you were talking about.
And if you notice the intensity on his face, the way he's moving his mouth, he does like a little sort of karate chop, chop, chop every time he throws a punch. He gets maximum leverage on every one of his punches, and he often punches in combination.
Oh, there's Santa Cruz popping his head up and throwing an overhand overhand right. I'll tell you again, that's the key. If you can stay in rhythm with a fighter like this, you make him work your way instead of him working his way. You might be able to get somewhere with a fighter that's faster than you and obviously has more power. Even though he's a smaller fighter, he's knocking Santa Cruz around.
Santa Cruz is normally a volume puncher. He's a big, tall, rangy fighter who has his way with opponents when he's able to close the distance and just basically swarm on them. He's fighting southpaw against Valero. These guys have sparred probably 40 to 50 rounds in the past, and he knows when he comes out Valero aggressive from the orthodox stance, he just leaves himself open for those devastating counter punches. So he's coming in behind a southpaw jab, and he's actually in this round, he's starting to land some clean punches. I'm impressed.
One punch, one left hand, Valero backs him off. The problem that Santa Cruz is encountering is that he just doesn't have enough footwork. I mean, he's changed his stance, but he's coming straight forward anyway.
Yeah, he's not a stick and move guy. He's not a guy who dances around the ring. Both these guys are guys who stalk their opponents. They are seek and destroy fighters.
Santa Cruz with 2 nice shots to the body doesn't slow Valero down, but maybe it makes him think for a second. If that's better than not, I suppose. But again, when he comes in, he's not very active. He bulls his head in there and can't do much when he gets inside, and Valero just pushes him off and goes right back to his game plan.
And these guys are real lightweight prospects, young guns. You see the amount of punches that they're throwing. I'm getting tired just looking at it, as a matter of fact. I mean, it's really, since this sparring session started, I don't know how many punches Valero has thrown, and Jose Armando Santa Cruz, he's beginning to step up his punch activity as well.
And Santa Cruz has found himself in the corner now, a terrible place to be with Valero. And there is the reason why it's a terrible place to be. That that left hand over the top is just murderous. You don't want to get caught with that anywhere in the ring, but especially not in the corner.
That's his knockout punch as well.
And he touched him with it again. This Santa Cruz needs some footwork and a little bit of head movement. Might save his day. This is not the kind of punishment you want to take for several rounds.
You see how Valero goes right back to that jab. He'll land a combination. He'll swat both hands to either side of the body, come up the middle, or he'll land a straight 1-2, and then he comes right back to the jab, peppering guys.
He actually caught Valero just now with an overhand. Actually, it was a hook from the left side. And again, if he can string more of those kind of punches together at once, he might be able to impose his will. But these one-punch offenses are just not going to get him anywhere. Valero will take that one punch and move and start his combination.
Nice right hand from Jose Armando. Valero always going back to the jab. There's holding and hitting a little bit right there. And Valero's a guy who knows all the tricks, despite only having 12 rounds of experience.
And that's a counter punch for you. The left hand coming right back after he gets touched with the jab.
Nice double right from Jose Armando. All right, this is the third round. This is the last round of sparring that Santa Cruz is going to do with Valero. After this round, another sparring partner will get in with Valero.
Now, I wouldn't get in there for more than 3 rounds. I probably wouldn't get in there for 3 minutes. I'm wondering why Santa Cruz has opted out after 3.
Well, he's not opting out. It's his trainer. Santa Cruz and his brother and his stablemates, these guys have sparred with Valero before, and in the past they'd gone 4, 5, maybe 6 rounds, and after a while, after the punishment they were feeling on their shoulders, their biceps, their rib cage, and of course their nose and chin, their trainer, Rudy Hernandez, decided, you know what, I'm going to cut this thing down to 3 rounds. So there's a 3-round limit with Edwin Valero.
Well, apparently Santa Cruz knows that because he seems to be letting it all hang out this round. This is already a better round than the first 2. Even though he's getting pot shot right now, he's more aggressive. He's landing more punches already. And if he would just let his hands go a little bit more, he could actually make a dent in Valero's armor, or at least has the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, it's definitely a higher punch output from Jose Armando. He knows, after this round, his workout is done, basically.
Exactly.
So he can let it all hang out a little bit. Good 1-2. Good 1-2 delivered from the southpaw stance. Edwin Valero comes right back.
There is a great left hand, again, right to the chops of Santa Cruz. And that's what your head can't be there for. If I can see it coming, he can see it coming. He just has no head movement. Now that is the
good
kind of
swatting right. Well, actually, it was a right hook. Yeah, it was a right hook because it was delivered from the southpaw stance. But this is the most I've seen Edwin Valero get tagged cleanly in a very long time. He has not fought since last year, and his license is suspended. He is on ice right now. He hasn't sparred for the last 8 months. He just started about a month and a half ago. So he's rusty.
One little technique I noticed that's effective for Santa Cruz, he seems when he comes up out of a duck to swat Valero. Valero gets caught with it pretty consistently. I don't know if that's a punch you can keep throwing, but at least he can keep throwing it until Valero figures a way to remedy it.
Right now, I would say Valero is a perfect offensive machine He is not a perfect defensive machine.
No, as a matter of fact, he's got all kind of holes in his defense, but I think that's because nobody's really making him pay for it.
Yeah, his style is that of the knockout artist, the puncher. That's his mentality, and he kind of reminds me of a young Kostya Tszyu. He keeps his hands down by his side. He counter punches. He's very sharp with his jab, and he's physically strong. And on the inside, he can throw you around.
This is the last 30 seconds, and I'll tell you, he's wide open for that left hook. I saw Santa Cruz land it a couple times. There's a straight left. Santa Cruz can just chop him over the top with that left hook time and again if he can get it there quick enough. There it is.
The thing is, you only see Santa Cruz land one power shot, one clean shot at a time.
There it is.
There's
again.
that left again. There's the follow-up isn't there. Because generally, you know what? Valero either punches back or he steps to the side.
He's not there for the second punch.
That's true.
And that's the difference.
Valero was tired at the end of that round. He really worked hard.
Well, he got tagged that round. He got, he didn't put his defense up. He didn't. Oh, there's a nice uppercut. I can't
Beautiful
tell you how much
combination.
I love to see that.
He swats to both sides. He's either going to hit ribs or he's going to hit arms, and then he comes right up the middle.
And you could have missed it, but right at the beginning of that flurry, he snuck a nice shot into the ribs that allowed that right hand to come over the top. Or left hand to come over the top. Boy, when these guys switch stances, they confuse me.
It gets a little confusing, doesn't it? Imagine how it is as a fighter in the ring.
And that's the left hook that's open for Santa Cruz and anybody else all day until Valero puts his hands up, that is.
This is round 4 for Edwin Valero. He's now in there with junior lightweight prospect Urbando Antillon. Antillon is an undefeated fighter. He is 13-0 with 8 knockouts.
And unfortunately for Urbano, he seems to be starting exactly like Santa Cruz started. Head down, hands up, and just trying to walk in. And Valero's taking no shorts. He's pushing him off and starting with his rhythm punching again.
Urbano got in a couple sneaky lead right hands. That's the punch of choice against most southpaws. One thing Urbano is doing differently from Santa Cruz is he is coming at Valero from the orthodox stance. That means he'll be fighting with more comfort, but he's going to be open for more counter punches from Valero, who's used to fighting orthodox fighters.
And that left hook catches Valero again. Apparently it doesn't bother him because he doesn't mind getting hit with it.
He's got a good chin.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. Urbano's coming forward like he is. If he could throw more punches, if he could be a little bit more active maybe with those lead rights, he might be able to make some headway here. But right now, he's just not throwing enough punches, if you ask me.
It looks like Urbano's strategy is basically get inside and try to rough him up or outwork him. Problem is he's having a hard time getting inside because he's not jabbing enough. When he lands the straight right, he doesn't close the distance. He stands right in front of him.
And I'm critical of Valero for not having much head movement or even keeping his hands up most of the time. But what he does have is footwork. You're not just really going to walk in there on him if he doesn't want you to. And that's what he'll back up, he'll move to the side, and he'll throw punches at angles. And if he's doing that, you're not going to be able to just put your head down and land punches.
And he's not a dancer. He's not a stick-and-move fighter, but he doesn't stand right in front of guys either. He does know how to use the ring to his advantage.
Exactly. And with Urbano, that's enough. If you can just step to the side. He's got his foot right on top of Urbano's foot and hit him with a punch. That is an old-school savvy move. And what the usual result is you get hit with that punch and you fall straight back and call it a knockdown. Meanwhile, the other fighter's foot is on top of yours, so you had to go down.
That's exactly the reason why Jose Armando was boxing him from the southpaw stance, to avoid that right foot being placed on his lead foot. Now you see the guy's grapple.
Load up. Yeah, he loves to load up with that left hand. And even in the grappling, I realize Urbano's not quite as big as Santa Cruz, but he's bigger than Valero and still getting bullied in there. Pushed around, turned around, his hands are getting held down.
Getting hip-tossed, getting thrown off balance.
It's interesting that Valero can still be the bully in the ring and the smallest guy.
From what I understand, it's always been that way for him. Back in Venezuela, even when he was a kid, he was known as a monster in the ring.
Yeah, I think that his little savvy ways are serving him well. The stepping on the foot, the hip toss, the moving just enough to stay out of the range of getting hit with heavy shots. And his combination rhythm punching is his saving grace. That's the kind of stuff that champions are made of. That was a great round for
Into
Valero.
the 4th round of sparring for Edwin Valero, the 1st round for Urbano against Valero. Nice right uppercut.
Urbano's going to want to change his game plan in the 2nd round, or otherwise this punishment's going to continue.
Round 5 for Edwin Valero, 2nd round of sparring for Urbano Antillon.
Yeah, if he could lead with that right hand, stay a little bit to the left of Valero, I think it would service him well. Right now, he's just allowing himself to get hit with too many punches. Is Valero just letting off? There's that lead left hand, and it's punishing.
Well, every time he gets hit with the jab, he kind of has to reset himself and fix his headgear. It's basically stifling him as far as his offense is concerned. I also think Urbano really wants to get inside and try to just rough him up. I think on the inside, it's probably the safest place to be with Valero. It's just so hard to get in there.
He doesn't have enough head movement to get inside. He doesn't have enough footwork to get inside. He should either be throwing punches or on his bicycle, because right now there is no third option. He can't just walk head first into a puncher. This guy is letting off on him like a punching bag.
Yeah, coming straight in or backing straight out against the puncher is never a good idea. The thing is about Urbano, he's not a savvy boxer. He's not a pretty boxer. He's a guy who goes in there and slugs away like Rocky.
Yeah, I just like to see Urbano throwing more punches, if not at least moving and jabbing. So right now he is a sitting duck.
There is a short lead right. Oh! And Valero comes back with a right hand of his own.
That's got to close the show. You
Yeah,
don't want a guy
took his
taking
leg out.
a single punch after that.
Let's see the replay.
Boom! I mean, you look back at us. You looked back at us. I thought his head spun around 360.
Yeah, that was a 1-2, and his chin went to his right shoulder, snapped all the way back to the left shoulder. That's very bad for the brainstem. It was good that they stopped it right after that and didn't allow him to take another punch.